Start my record. All right. Welcome everyone to the 7th edition of the Tips and Tricks, Research Tips and Tricks. So far, so good we have come. My name is Bright. If this is your first time of coming on board. So today we are looking at science and ignorance. Science and ignorance. The Tips and Tricks are monthly research clinic where we, within the space of 1 hour, discuss issues that are pertinent to our research. All right. So what I will do now is I will send you to the breakout rooms to discuss this. So I'm going to divide you into 3 groups. So please take a picture of what you see on the screen. I'm not sure which group you end up being, but take a screenshot so that in your group you can discuss it. Group number 1 will be looking at this statement: ignorance drives science. Discuss the statement. Is it true? If yes, how? If not, why not? For group number 1. Group number 2 will be discussing, by the time you retire from your routine research work, how much of your topic, the topic of your research, would you have fully known? Please give an educated guess and express your answer in percentage. What factors could explain your answer? And finally, group number 3 will be dealing with this question: in research questions, this is a statement: in research, questions are more relevant than answers. So you're going to also discuss this. I will give you 15 minutes to work on this and come back to the main. So please, in your group, appoint somebody who will take only 2 minutes, not more than 2 minutes, to tell us your feedback. So you have to be very succinct in your discussion and the point you are outlining. Appoint somebody in your group so that when we come back, we can work on that. So I hope you have taken the picture. Okay. All right. So let me send you to your breakout. So please join the group you end up into. The rooms are open, so join your group, please. All right, welcome everyone. So group 1, if you're presenting, just raise your hand. I can unmute you. So that who is presenting for group 1? Okay, Emmanuel. Snappy, Emmanuel. And group 2, raise your hand too. And group 3, then Emmanuel, go ahead.
Okay, so can you hear me?
Hear you.
Yeah, okay. Good afternoon all. So for group 1, it was really interesting conversation. So we're asked to look at ignorance drives science. So basically, we had more to support this statement than against this statement. So from the team conversation and discussion, we realized that what drives research is actually the need in the society. And someone within the group was able to use the COVID-19 as example. And COVID-19 situation actually, due to the gap, we had to put in resources to look for vaccine to address the situation. And secondly, research is based on what we don't know. So based on that gap, we're able to look at the best way to address that. So the gap in knowledge fuels research. We usually, in science, move from the unknown to the known. So we frame better questions to get better answers. So when we see research questions, what comes to our mind is how do we answer those questions? And that will guide our methodology, our approach, and we'll be able to find solution to the problem. And the other part is that one of the team members feels that it is very
20 seconds.
It's problematic to say science drives ignorance. And the other part which goes against the statement is that some already know, but all they are looking for is just evidence to back up what they already know. Thank you. That is it for my team.
All right, thank you. Jamila, are you for the group 2?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
Okay, the question for group 2 says that by the time you retire from your routine research work, how much of your topic of research will you have fully known? Please give an educated guess and express your answer in percentage, and what factors will explain your answer. So by the time we'll have finished our research work, we will have known a lot from that research work that we have been doing throughout our life. And we should have known by roughly about 80 to 90% of that research work. And reasons being that this has been the focus topic that we have experienced throughout our life. We have undergone wider region, have reviewed a lot of literature, and it's a topic that we have had interest and passion in reviewing. And then we have conducted a lot of methods of survey, both quantitative and qualitative, with consistent, and we have reviewed various consistent topics and conflicts within that topic. In addition, we have also collaborated with other people in that topic. Thank you very much, sir.
All right, thank you. Thank you. That's quite interesting. 80 to 90%. Wow. Okay, we'll come back to that. Ayobami Oni is for group 3, I think.
Good day.
Good day.
Good afternoon. Good day, everyone.
Good afternoon.
For our group 3, we talked about. Just give me a minute. In group 3, our topic was in research, questions are more relevant than answers. And the discussion was that questions are what give rise to answers. If you don't have, and in research, the reason why you do a research is basically to answer a particular question, sorry. Once you look at, as the other person said, you identify a gap, questions start coming to mind, and you want to provide answers to those questions. Though you get some answers that stimulate further questions, but it's questions that give rise to answers. And that's why our question needs to be well framed, and we have to think about how to get the right answers, because it can be garbage in, garbage out. That's why you have to ask the right questions.
All right.
So as to get the right answers. Thank you.
Great, great. Interesting conversations. And from what you have given, I see that your groups had interesting conversations. Group one didn't like the term ignorance. They didn't like that. Who scientist likes that kind of? You say you are an ignorant scientist. You bang your desk. Do you know where I have come from? PhD, master's degree. I've been working here for 12 years, and you say I'm ignorant scientist? Oh no. Okay, yeah. Let's see. What is science? The Science Council, this international think tank, defines it. I mean, you can have variations of this definition depending on the context you are based. It defines it as the pursuit and application of knowledge and understanding of the natural and social world following a systematic methodology based on evidence. Okay, this is clear. And the one thing that is there is that, many times when we say scientists, some of those in the social sciences tend to exclude themselves, thinking that it's the hard science that is science. No, here you can see that the social aspect has also been brought in here. All right, the scientific process. You see, I don't know if you see any difference between these two. I can take two people. If you raise your hand, I can take two people. The first two people that raise your hand, I can take that. Do you see any difference between these two things here? Ayobami, do you want to respond? I see your hand up. Ayobami, do you want to respond?
I didn't lower my hand.
Okay.
I didn't lower my hand.
All right. Anyone who wants to tell us? Okay, nobody's raising the hand. All right. Nobody wants to be called an ignorant scientist. If you call me that name today, I am over the sky. Okay, yeah. All right, maybe after. Okay, I see Adeotun. Adeotun wants to respond quickly. Yes, the floor is yours. Unmute yourself.
Yes, sir. You said, do we know if there is any difference between these two diagrams?
Yeah, what are differences you see there?
They almost mean the same thing because they started with observation and then question, which is you observe with your eyes. Then the next thing is when they discover a problem, what is this? What are we going to use as the title of the problem?
So
then,
about giving the same, do you think they are the same?
They are almost the same.
What is the almost there?
Yeah, the almost there is the reports to conclusion, which the first one, okay, the first one has report and conclusion. The difference in their diagram, but it's the same thing.
Okay, let me take from Nelson.
Animated.
Thank you very much. Yes. Let me see, Nelson, what you have in mind. Nelson, tell me.
Professor, thank you for the question. I think these two diagrams, they are similarity, but also they are difference. The difference that I see in one cycle, in one diagram, we see is a cycle, is a process that starts from observation question. It's go to the reports, conclusion, but also it's like a cycle spinning in the right. But in the left, my left, we see that it's end in the results. There's no continuity from the results to observation.
Thank you, Nelson. You got what I was looking for. You got what I was looking for. Now, You have answered that there is no continuity in this one. This one, there's continuity. So which of these is the right scientific approach? What we do normally. Relate this to the discussions you have had in your group. Any quick response? For Folution and Charles, I will give two of you. So quickly, Folution, you go first.
Okay. I think the one where we have the one by the right, where there's continuity,
Is
the
what
right
we
approach.
do.
Is
That is the
yes.
right approach. Is that what you
Yes,
do?
that's most times, well, there are we. Well, that is what I. Well, in some instances we do that, but mostly there is no continuity. But the
no
right
continuity.
approach is supposed to be the one by the right. That's what I feel.
Great, great. You see, I'm trying to arrive at something. You see, from the discussion you had in the breakout rooms, asking what is the product of your, you set out a research question. What is the product you are looking for? Many times, you see, this one is what we are looking for an answer. We are looking for results. Okay. I have a friend in my home country, very close friend, and anytime he calls me, he say, Bright, this is your research. When are you even going to finish it? And I will laugh. You have been doing this thing for a long time. When are you finishing this your research? Oh, goodness me. Well, you see, many times, even we as scientists, we think in that way, that we have a destiny where we get, and when we get there. But I tell you, if it was something that always has an end, you see, many of the universities, many of the research institutes would have closed long time ago. Let me say, for instance, diabetes. Diabetes has been researched for ages, and who are still researching it? Okay. When is it going to end? You see, Folution, you are right. Continuity. We start with question. We end with question. We start with question. We end with question. The problem is many times we are pursuing answers. We are pursuing answers because you set your mind to pursue answers, you get it wrong. This is the scientific process. Maybe what I'm telling you today may be new. Let me try to convince you more. What is ignorance? We have defined science. What is ignorance? Ignorance is a state of being ignorant, destitute of knowledge or education. This is the basic definition we have in the public. Showing lack of knowledge or intelligence. And this definition is based on the Merriam-Webster dictionary. If you check other dictionaries, you have similar definition. There is factual ignorance, absence of knowledge of some fact, object ignorance, unacquaintance with some objects, technical ignorance, absence of knowledge of how to do something. These are ignorance there. You see, when you look at ignorance, I think there's some positive aspect. All right. It's just that we don't like it because we are educated people. You know, if somebody calls you a very ignorant person, you get angry. Even the little kids, they will get angry. What do you mean? I'm ignorant? But it's not all really too bad a word. Okay. Anyway, let me not spoil your weekend for you so that you don't think I'm calling you ignorant. But I want to prove to you today that all of us, if a scientist here, we are all ignorant, except it from me. And that is why, because there is the general ignorance I've defined, there is a scientific ignorance. All right. Somebody has left. I hope the person was not unhappy. because the living coincided with when I said we're all ignorant, myself included. All right. So don't think I am saying it only to yourself, but the ignorance here is a scientific one. And the way it is defined is condition of knowledge, which describes the absence of facts, understanding, insight, clarity. I don't know if somebody is following me. Is somebody following me here? You're getting the point I'm going to. All right. Lack of data. Existing data is insufficient. Existing data is incoherent to reach conclusion. Goodness me. If you think that what I'm saying is not realistic, look at what is happening in COVID. The COVID research, what is happening there, for example, and that goes for other things. Otherwise, you would have packed your load and left where you are. You would have finished it long time ago. But these issues are facts that we face. You may not have clear understanding of the issues. Our insight is not clear. There is lack of clarity in how, for instance, the system is working. We don't have data. All right. We say this is knowledgeable ignorance, perceptive ignorance, or insightful ignorance. So I've defined the public opinion ignorance and the scientific ignorance. And if you look at these things listed here, we face them every day, every time as scientists. All right. Lao Tzu says, to know that you do not know is the best. To think you know when you do not is a disease. Recognizing this disease as a disease is to be free of it. Wow. that is powerful. But many times we hide under the cloak, and as scientists, we are not open to this. Not this ignorance we are talking about is not an individual lack of knowledge, but a communal gap in knowledge. See, take for instance, you're doing your thesis. They say, do your literature review. What is literature review? What is known? It is from what is known you go to what is unknown. And many times when we use those words, we describe them to be fantastic, but actually you can put it another way, what we know and what we are ignorant of. Yeah, that is why you're doing that piece of research, because there's a gap in our knowledge that you want to fill in. Right? This ignorance leads us to frame better questions. The first step to getting better answers. The first step to getting better answers is to frame better questions. That is what this scientific ignorance leads us to. All right? James Maxwell says, thoroughly conscious ignorance is the prelude to every real advance in science. You need to be conscious of it. Your supervising student, you know, I was, some students are having internship with me. And yesterday, they're processing their data. And I said, okay, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Send me your codes you have written via email. And I saw this student, she was uncomfortable with that. She was typing it on the Zoom chat. I said, I don't want you on the Zoom. I want to send me the file. Okay, she has to do it because I've asked her to do it. So I told her, you see what? I was where you were. Okay, if I see it, regardless of the mistakes you have made there, I will only smile because I was there. So there's nothing you have done there. There's no mistake you have done there that will make me to think, oh, you are stupid. No. because you move from not knowing to knowing. That is the way it functions. And then she relaxed. And then she said, thank you very much for that. I said, you will thank me more because you are in a journey of discovery. But if you don't open yourself, then you will not get it. And so if we don't accept that we are ignorant of things, it's difficult. All right. Ignorant in the scientific process. What is your motivation for doing your research? Take the scientific process in this way. We have input, and that input is the question we ask, the hypothesis we raise. I tell you, even at this level, there are things we are ignorant of. Because when you formulate your hypothesis, what do? You say that, well, the hypothesis may be true or may be false, but you state it to prove it. If you know it all, it shouldn't even propose it in the first place. So ignorance exists in this scientific level. Ignorance exists already. Then we do the experiment. You can see this experiment is a black box of many things that go. Some may go right, some may go wrong. But eventually, it is not perfect system. And so ignorance exists even here. Then what is your expected outcome or output? You see? Answers. Some of us are looking for answers. There is even ignorance in the answers. Because if you know it all, your research would have stopped there. You pack your load, you said, well, I've finished. The group 2 was saying that they will know about 80 to 90%, and I laughed. Oh, so goodness me. Then why are you still there? Why is your supervisor inviting people and they will supervise them and they will continue? And when they have retired, people still continue. First generation and second generation, they still continue. And that 100% is not reached. Well, questions. One of the outputs you get when you have done this are questions, and getting questions represent the beautiful bride of your research. So what is it that you aim for when you start your research? To get answers? To become ignorant? Yeah, ignorance can push you top, because in the process, you still have more questions to ask. I met a Nobel laureate who won the Nobel Prize from Norway, and this guy was describing his scientific exploration, and he said he was doing experiment with rats. Neurological experiment, and he stayed in this lab. He said he has stayed in this lab for the last 40 years, just in that lab, that small lab he started. And that is where he did publish things that got him the Nobel Prize. Because the more he's looking, the more questions are coming. The more questions are coming. The more questions are coming. What is your expected product in your research? At what time or stage do you judge that you have arrived at the answers and resolved every ignorance? What happens if another study refutes your answers in the future? You start from beginning again. The point here is that there is a cycle of ignorance surrounding us. And the best way to approach it is to do what? To accept it. Questions are more relevant than answers. That is true. Questions are bigger than answers. The questions you get are bigger because they lead you to exploration. That is what scientific ignorance is. Okay, let me take, for example, my own. When I was doing my PhD, I was trying to answer a question: whether the timing of infant feeding is related to allergy. You know, allergy has increased. At the same time, the World Health Organization and the different organizations that are responsible for allergy have given a recommendation that children should be exclusive breastfed for first 6 months of their life. And after that, solid food should be introduced systematically. Should be introduced systematically. That is the recommendation. Okay? But you know, that recommendation was influenced by the general recommendation that breastfeeding is good. Breastfeeding is good. But the question is, for prevention of allergy, does it play a role? You know, before the recommendation was initiated and developed for this topic, the evidence we had was very, very, very minute evidence. And what happened? What happened? Some studies started coming out. This is one of the studies that showed that actually when foods are given earlier than recommended, children seem to have protection from developing allergies. Then when I was doing my PhD, we got this one published. This was hot cake at that time. Then another one came from us, a hot cake. And they said, is this true? Do you mean that when we give food, solid foods earlier, in fact, this one here, talking about diversity, the recommendation says that you give the children the foods one at a time. But we found out that the children who were given a more mixture of foods had better protection from developing allergy and asthma. And that was quite interesting. But this started shaking the ground. The experts were asking, how can that be? But you don't know that in the years past, we have been dwelling and swelling in ignorance, and we are carrying our suitcases as if we knew it all. But this study started showing that actually what we knew may not be true, may not be working in that way. And what happened? The international, once the studies were published, we had a statement that were released. Look at this. And this was based on a consortium of international experts from different parts of the world. So to prevent peanuts, for instance, or egg allergy, both peanut and egg should be introduced around 6 months of life, but not before 4 months, before it was 6 months, okay? Screening before introduction is not required, but may be preferred by some families. Other allergens should be introduced around this time as well. Upon introducing complementary foods, infants should be fed a diverse diet. You can see this, because this may help foster prevention of food allergy. All right, this was astonishing. It's a change of direction from where we were before. Okay, I'm showing this to tell you that we have a journey we're into. Many have given their verdict in the past, and I tell you, as we open our minds and move on, we will discover more things that are exciting and even make us to find more questions. So the goal of looking for answers many times can be deceptive. All right. My rambling. I hope I am making sense to you this afternoon. Well, what do you take home before we close? The fact is that as our knowledge grows, our ignorance also proportionally grows. In essence, the more we think we know, the more we don't know. That is the truth. This is not a negative thing. No, it's not a negative thing. It's not negative. That is the way it works. The problem is that as human beings, we run away from ignorance. We don't want to accept it. we are afraid of it. We are so phobic about it. But you see, the more you're running in the dark, it is following you. In the there. You go onto the bus, it's following you because that is your reality. And if you're wearing the garment of a scientist, then your ignorance knows no bound. You have to accept it. We should cultivate it. We should be proud of it. I don't know. I want to know. So what do? Approach your research with openness. Open up. What are you going to find? I don't know. I want to find more questions, not answers. Because we are only given answers many times. I want to find more questions. When you do your research, open up. Expect surprises. Don't focus on answers. Questions are more often an output of our initial research questions. So you can see the cyclic nature of the scientific process. It goes from questions, ends in questions, goes from questions, ends in questions, goes from questions, ends in questions. And that is where how dynasty of research institutions are built. Look at what Socrates said. He has said it for ages. He said, I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, and that is that I know nothing. That is where I will end it for you this afternoon. Volunteer for SFI activities. Please, if you have not done so, let's just remind you to do that. Please volunteer for that. So that we can get the deadline is next week. I put the form on the chat box. If you have not filled it, please do so as soon as possible. And please spread it, send it to your colleagues and let them volunteer, because we are looking towards a very beautiful 2023 to do great things as a community. All right. Next tips and tricks. The 8th edition will be scientific failures. What is it and how do you deal with it? Scientific failures. 30th of September. Please come around. And finally, our seminar series, the 6th edition for this year, quenching the fires. Role of mediation, conflict resolution, regional integration in Africa's development. Please come to here, because we have lots of problem in our continent, and we can find a way as scientists to find tools in which we can make it better. Oh, sorry, we didn't. If you want to please get the slide, put your email on the chat box quickly, please, so that we can pick them up and we'll send you the slide as soon as we finish this. All right. Anybody who wants, you have a quick question or so? Have a quick question? Please just raise your hand. Raise your hand, please. If you have a quick response. All right, no hand. Now you are unmuted, so you can speak. All right, you can unmute your mic. Okay, I have Adele too. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, thank you so much for the lecture. Quite interesting, and it's an eye-opening. Sir, you said if another study refutes the one that you have done, that you won't need to start again.
No, that what I mean is that you have reached an answer doesn't mean that is the only answer that is there.
Okay.
Knowledge grows by self-scrutiny.
Okay.
That is how science grows. So if another study refutes your answer, what does that mean for you? Does it mean your answer was wrong? Does it mean you have to start again? What action do you take? The point I'm trying to make is that is actually how the world works. And we need to accept it and know that we don't do research just to get answers. We do to get more questions, to have the unknowns we don't know. Go ahead.
The second question. So if I want to research on something, I can use something that I'm interested in. I can use the same title as someone that I've done it 5 years ago.
I mean, crafting a title shouldn't be a big issue. So you don't necessarily have to use somebody's title.
Okay.
You can reframe your own title.
Okay. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Thank you, everyone, and have a good weekend, and see you on Sunday for our seminar series.
Thank you to Dr. Bright and everybody.
Thank you, Doc.
Happy weekend.
Bye.
Thank you, Dr. Bright. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Prof.
Thank you.
Thank you, Prof. It was the eye opener.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you.